Welcome back to another video about the upgrades and the improvements in version 26 of Dietrich. Today is going to be all about the mouse workflow and the pre-selection/selection process. So how did it work until now? Well, up until version 25, we had the concept or the workflow called action-object interaction, which means you had to choose your action first and then the object that you wanted to do that action to afterwards. So as an example, if we wanted to move a rafter, we would first say move and then choose the rafter that we could then move. Same with, let's say we wanted to move a text, we would say move text and then move that text. One of the advantages was that if we chose to move a specific object, we could then only move that object. We couldn't move something else accidentally. That workflow is still available in version 26. Absolutely nothing has been changed about it. So if you're used to that, you can still continue to work that way. So why change that now? Well, the trend with other CAD software has been to use what we call object-action interaction. This means that we select the object first and then we say what we want to do with that object, especially with the context of our changed contextual menus now. That means that you're faster as you're working more localized in an area. For that workflow to work, I need to make sure that the mouse selection process is available at any time. I'm going to quickly go back to the old icon bar here to demonstrate what we were always able to do in DCAM up until this point. This is how you turn on the old toolbar. So here we have the old toolbar back. And in DCAM, it's always been that we could pre-select an item and then choose what we could do with it, but just not in every model area of Dietrich. Now we have changed it to that you can do it in absolutely every model area. So whether that be selecting a wall inside of the floor plan, a window inside of the walls, or if it is components in the ceiling or the roof, it makes absolutely no difference. I can do it in the entire software now, where I choose an object first and then decide what action to do with it afterwards. So there are different ways to select different items, and that's what this video is all about. So to begin, let's go and hover over this rafter right here, and you'll see that without me clicking on it, it is going to pre-select this rafter. I can now click on it, and then I move away from it, and you see that it's still selected. What we can also see now is that if I hover on this next rafter over here, is you can see a little plus. So I have not clicked the mouse yet, but it means that if I click the mouse, this rafter will be added to the other selected rafter. I'm going to click on it now, and you can see that it's been added to the selection. So I've added another rafter to it by clicking on it. Now, if I'd like to deselect a component that has been previously selected, I can simply hit the Shift button and then go over that. I'm still only just hovering on it. I haven't clicked on it yet. You can see that it is pre-selecting that rafter, but it's also giving me a little minus symbol up there. That means if I click on it, it will now deselect it or take it out of that group of selected items. It's now been deselected. So in short, I move on it, I click on it, it's been selected, hit Shift, click it again, and it's deselected. Very commonly, we do want to select multiple items though. Let's say I want to select all these rafters here to do something with them. What I can do is I simply click over here. You can see that a little rubber band is now attached to the point that I clicked on. I'm not holding the mouse anymore. And you can see that little plus sign that appeared there, which means that it's going to add to the selection. I'm going to go over this rafter now, and you can see that it's been pre-selected. I have not clicked yet. It just means that it has pre-selected, and if I was to click on it now, it would add it to the selection. I'm going to just continue and pull over these rafters here. And then let's say I needed all these rafters here. I now click, and now all these rafters are selected. In order to deselect some of these rafters again, I hold down the Shift button, click, and now you'll see that there's a little minus sign right there. So if I drag over that rafter there, you can see that there's a pre-selection, meaning that if I was to click now, it would deselect just this one rafter. I'm going to just go over here and click, and you can see how those rafters have now been deselected from all the others that were previously selected. I'm going to just repeat that again, and I'm going to deselect this entire row again. So there's another possibility on how to select multiple items as well. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click and hold the left mouse button now, and you can see that a little frame with a plus sign opens up. That means any item that is inside that frame is going to be pre-selected. So very important to note is that the item needs to be completely in the frame, so not just half of it. So you can see, even though my frame overlaps some of these components here, they're not being pre-selected yet. I have to have them completely in frame. I'm going to now drag to the bottom right here, and you can see that every item that is completely inside that frame is pre-selected. I'm still holding the mouse button. I haven't let go yet. Only at the moment when I let go of it are all the items actually selected. So now I've let go of the mouse button, and all these items have been selected. In the same way as previously, I can now deselect items just that same way again. I'm going to hold the Shift button, click and hold my mouse button, and you can see that as soon as items are completely inside that frame, they're being pre-selected, meaning that if I was to let go of a mouse button now, they would be deselected. I'm going to just keep on dragging over it, and you can see how all the items that are selected and are now completely in the frame are pre-selected for deselection. I know that was a mouthful, but you'll understand what I mean. If I now let go of the mouse button, you can see that all those items that were previously selected are now deselected. One thing that is important to note is that I was dragging this frame open from the left to the right. So what happens if I go down to the right here and I click, hold, and drag that frame open? First thing you notice that that little frame is now a dotted line, and you'll notice that the behavior is a little bit different. The moment I go on an object is going to be pre-selected. I'm still holding the mouse button. The item still hasn't been selected yet. It is being pre-selected. That's why you can see the highlighting preview there. If I now keep pulling over it, you can see that every item that gets touched by the frame is going to be pre-selected. I'm just going to drag a little bit further. I still haven't let go of the mouse yet. And now I'm going to let go of it. Now all the items that were pre-selected are selected. And in the same way that we were able to use the Shift button to deselect previously, I can now do the same thing where I'm going to hit the Shift button, click and hold my mouse button, and you can now see a little minus sign there, meaning that it is going to take the items that are pre-selected out of the selection. So I'm just going to drag over that here. If I let go of my mouse button here right now, only the highlighted items are going to be deselected. So just as an example, I just let go right there. We still had a few items that were not being touched by that frame, and they're still selected at this point. I'm just going to do that with all the rest of the items. And now absolutely everything is deselected again. So as a quick summary, opening up the frame from the left to the right, the items need to be completely inside of that frame. And if I do it from the right to the left, then as long as the frame crosses over an item, it is going to select it. And both functions respectively will also deselect when you hit the Shift key. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate how to deselect all selected objects right now. For that, I'm going to quickly select a bunch of rafters here right now. And if I hit the Escape key right now, you can see that everything got deselected. There's another faster way to do that though as well. I'm going to select these rafters again, and all that I need to do right now is to click and hold the right mouse button, and then I pull left. You can now see that little minus tag with the exclamation mark, and that means that all items are going to be deselected. I haven't let go of my mouse yet. I'm going to let go of it, and you can see everything has been deselected. It's a much faster way because you don't actually need to find another key on your keyboard. You can just do it with your mouse simply wherever you are. It's going to deselect all items. So just a quick word of encouragement, just try it out. You'll see that it works very fast. And then also again, another reminder that if you go back into your project administration and you go onto documents, you'll now find a document here called Using the Mouse in version 26. Scroll down onto page number 2. You can see all the selection functions explained here. You've got the single selection, line selection, crossing window where you drag from the right to the left, and then window selection where you drag from the left to the right. There's also 2 more functions here, which is the crossing polygon and the window polygon. I didn't demonstrate those to you, but you can try those out on your own time. And then the last item here obviously is how to deselect everything. That is either going to be the right mouse button and then drag to the left, or simply to hit the escape key. So I'm going to go back to our roof here and want to show you another function. If I hover over top of this rafter, you will see not only the plus sign appear, but also that little wavy thing. It's called a tilde. And this means that if I hit S on my keyboard for similar, it is going to pre-select all similar items, in this case, all the rafters. I haven't clicked on this rafter yet, and only when I click on this rafter will my pre-selection actually become selected. So I'm going to click on it now, and now I can move away from that, and you see that all the rafters have been selected. Right, I'm just going to quickly hit escape to deselect all of them and demonstrate again. If I hover over top of this mid-span plate right here, then hit the S button, you can see that all the mid-span plates have now been pre-selected. If I just move away from that again, they're not selected because I didn't click on them. So the shortcut for that function here is an S for similar. In Germany, it's actually A for all, but you can change that. If you just go on File, Settings, and at the bottom here, you'll see Shortcut. If you click on that, Shortcut for object selection, you can now see here that similar S is the shortcut. Selection of objects similar to the selected objects are selected. If you're holding the mouse on the left side though, which is common with very advanced users that have really left their right hand to click numbers and the keyboard, they're actually using the mouse on the left side. Sounds super advanced to me. I'm not doing that. I have my mouse on the right side. But for them, it's advantageous to use a different shortcut. Let's say, for instance, you could use the semicolon key. But it's really up to you. You can program your shortcuts right here, just as you see it fit. Okay, so let's jump into the floor plan and show you how it works there. So we're here in the floor plan now, and I want to show you how this works in this environment as well. If I go on this exterior wall here, I can press the S button. You can see that all the exterior walls are being selected. I can also go over here on this interior wall, hit S, and obviously there are no similar ones to this wall here, but let's go over to this one here. I'm going to hit S, and you can see that a whole bunch of other walls are being selected with the similar attributes. I can also go over here and open up another selection window, and you can see that only the window is being pre-selected. I'm still holding the mouse, and I'm going to just make it bigger, and you see that there's a whole bunch of other items now that are inside of that window, but they're not being selected. And that's because the window has higher priority over those other items. Now, if I do pre-select another item, like let's say this line over here, and I repeat that same process, you can now see that the window is not being selected anymore, but all the other items are. And that means that I created a sort of pre-selection process by selecting that line. So with that, I hope that you have learned the new pre-selection selection process. You'll see that you can do that with absolutely all objects and everywhere in Dietrich. So whether that be lines, a door, I can do multiple doors here. I can do that with walls, in the roof, rafters, absolutely everywhere. And it should really speed up your work process in Dietrich. Now wishing you great success with Dietrich's version 26. See you in the next video.